strength comes into it. But when you have your coaches, your analysts, you take time away. It's not just a one and done. You know, you've got your best of 12, best of 16, whatever it is, and it's game over. You've got to go away, look at the VODs, look at what went wrong, look at what went right, and see how things can be improved. A boom out the back of the bus. Artix will be the first player to leave us in game number 3, sadly. Mellman. It looks like things won't be getting any easier for TM. That is a bloody headshot through the wilderness. And it just does not get any simpler.
Oof. Nah. Just leading the shot so perfectly as well. And hey, if we start see, I think James and I think Martin had a great discussion about it. That Na'Vi look a little bit more fired up. Certainly in full agreement. Nice couple of kills too, sitting very much towards the top of the table. They do need the victory to kind of unlock the amount of kills to add it to the equation. Otherwise, it's just kind of, as said, you fall into the same category as your heroics, who normally will have, you know, as I said, they had 75 kills, the highest kills in week 1, but they couldn't make anything of it except, ooh, Perfectix! Have a bit of that. Oh, Mitrailleus just got absolutely bopped. Oh, you love to see it. That was very nice shots from Perfectix. But again, something with VP, I was just checking, you know, how BatulinS is doing over on the, you know, on the Twitter sphere. They say he's not feeling so hot today, so they're still able to operate this level, and thanking his team for being such a big influence and always kind of, you know, being the leveraging factor. But, you know, if he's having a tough day, it can be pretty rough. Now, Mitrailleus does get flushed by the nade that left Lou's hand prior to him being knocked. So VP can't do this cleanly. Lou's in a bit of trouble here. Smash and Merc could pretty much flush this. BatulinS is going to have to fill that gap here if they do want to get back up to 4.
You can already see the commit into the utility to try and finish off the one player they've taken away. He does at least have a minor defilade he can play off the back of. BatulinS is also down there, so now Perfectix and Spyro really have to come into their own to quell the fires and keep them back honest. Turned on this, wait a minute, they're all pulling up to it. They've committed to the cause. Maybe they've read this and understand there's only one player here. Now gear up, find themselves in a 2 versus 1 with Schofield up top and give him the cover that he needs. And actually, there's 2 players on the other side as well. So this is death from above, a Death Valley incarnate if I've ever seen one, with players encapsulating either side of it. Galacticos have found themselves smack bang in the middle. But Spyro again knocking Marco. This is huge. This just keeps BBL back and gives them the time they need to get this player up. If it's one thing that I will say, and it's kind of frightening really for how good they are individually, you will see continuously, VP never likes to leave a man behind, do they? They always try and drag as many bodies as possible to the end game.
Wait, did Spyro just... Yeah, he spin spotted. Okay, they're falling away. They're like, yeah, if we got the drop on them, sure, we might commit a little more. But I think Liquid now know that there could be maybe some more threats coming in, so they don't want to overcommit to that. I think Supermassive Blaze were getting close enough, so they kind of had to, you know, maybe keep a little bit of an eye on that one, and weren't able to get this third party that maybe they were considering. Just having a little glimpse towards. Now, Spyro, job pretty much done. He has kept them under constant suppressing fire, allowing Lou to get rezzed. He's back up with the boys now, no problem. And they can maybe reset this fight a little, because they're going to have ENCE, I think, on the back lines to them pretty soon. They're going to be swinging him from the more northern side. Kind of the main road that we saw it kind of be. There it is. You can see him on the hillside, and as does Spyro, apparently. The man sees everything. Absolutely eagle-eyed. But now needs to be cautious, because his angles are getting slightly more worked out. A couple more players coming over to this area means that he's going to be maybe a little seen here. So caution to be shown. One smoke committed, but nothing too crazy. And ENCE can actually play the quieter side of the circle. They'll be just fine. But bear in mind, this is still very early into this game. We've had a couple of knocks, a couple of teams getting a bit of a scrap early on, because there are key areas. Now, we kind of mentioned a couple of teams at the start. Was it BBL, Heroic, and FaZe? Now, FaZe, you can see it. Heroic, you can see it. Now, BBL, as we've seen, have been completely kept pacified by Virtus.pro, now ENCE, SMB, and Liquid. All of them basically on the surround. VP going to be actually somewhat surrounded themselves here as well, but as said, wow, okay, a bit more northern. Richard, this is your territory.
Yeah, I'm very surprised, and depends which way we want to go. If it keeps going towards the north, we get the top side of Monte Nuevo, which is going to be...
So this will... Wait, where? What? You're pulling up to this? When I say there's lots of compounds available, I know that there are some favored, but I do not love this pull up at all. Yeah, they've instantly cancelled that concept. They're going right towards Supermassive Blaze. and then just been instantly taken out of it. I don't know if that was a blind send. I didn't see where they were originally. So that's probably, maybe they didn't have the information. Maybe it was a bit of a blind send. But to pull into that, if it wasn't SMB, Heroic could have probably seen some of it. Liquid, if they looked over the ridgeline, would have seen it. That pull-up was not great.
They paid the price for it. They've lost 2 players, whether it's random pull-up, whether it's pre-scouting, whether it's you thinking there's only one other team here that we can eject from the building and then take control of, because it is a big head of the pack within there. What, 1, 2, 3, you got 5 teams all within stone's throw of one another. It's still off the back of the early conflicts. If they've been thinking a weakened position is theirs for the taking to capitalize on, then so be it. Spyro was there to do the damage once again, the marksman. All the way from the top side. Quick update on the positions of where teams are going. The one for me, more than is ENCE. Look at this, the 2-2 split. They're playing both sides of Monte Nuevo. If this goes all the way up to the north, their control that they will have will be fantastic. It doesn't. It kind of stays central. We spoke about this road straight through the middle. BatulinS to hold the off angle, though. There's enough pressure on to just force them back and give his team a little bit of breathing room, and they'll need all of it because look at this. It's open terrain now. It's open water. ENCE have got an ally into this. Meanwhile, else across the map, Karks will go down. That's Salik. Remember, Hall of Game were having a difficult run after losing 2 players on transition. The pull-up was not beneficial for them.
They're moving up towards this. BatulinS is being called in because this is a big pack of players. That nade way better. Perfectix does catch Mer on the crest of that hillside. Little flash comes in. It doesn't quite find what they need. Lou does need to get that heal off. Perfectix right by their side. You can see him just off towards a slightly more, I guess, eastern lean. That'd be a fight against CodeMarco, but here comes a push. Spyro and Lou going to try and move up towards this. If a molly goes in, they are laughing. It's good. Merch burning alive, as is Smash. Spyro puts him out of his misery, but there's CodeMarco holding a slightly wider angle, but it's only CodeMarco. And that's problems. BatulinS is en route, but he's still far away. And if VP suffer too many casualties, they get slowed down here. This is where that next phase is going to be the death of them. However, SMB now paying attention, Liquid paying attention. Everyone hears and sees this going on. This is top, towards the top end of the lobby. Having a bit of a battle now. Spyro, careful. Dragon or not, that fire will burn. And Marco's just trying to play this time as best he can. Ibby's caught Lou in the back lines. Marco's gone down. So VP should be able to stabilize here, but they now know, everyone knows where we are, and this next circle could be the death of us.
It's that King of the Mountain scenario. Liquid's now playing their advantage. Jeemzz has pushed down and moved away from the compound to get a deeper angle on VP. If they can pin them outside of this, hell, if the rest of them can just deny SMB making landfall, things get a little bit easier. They know they need to keep this side of the circle clear because they're going to have to advance forward. So being able to put pressure now on VP while they have the time to do so and the security of the compound that they are holding, it's the best time to be striking. ENCE up against DA. That's a big team. That's an even bigger nade. Second one to boot and follow. Goes a little bit too far, bounces off the back, but the next one that comes in from a different direction altogether has struck, and it will hurt. PiXeL down to try and get his health back while Jembty is just trying to do another one. Now V on the other side, however, have turned up unannounced. There's only 2 of them. They've sent out the sniffer dogs to get some damage. If the player goes down here, they should probably commit the rest of them because their compound, it's on the outskirts.
How has Vanir just nabbed the center spot? Okay, VP, fair enough. Just jump over Jeemzz and pull up towards Clib. Nade comes out. It's not bad, but they've scattered. They don't know that Jeemzz behind him, but Perfectix is behind him. This is the weirdest scenario I've ever seen. Jeemzz should be calling all of this out to the boys. But does Jeemzz just keep his head down? Does he realize there's another? Maybe he's noticed Perfectix is not with him. Maybe he's only seen 3 and he's wondering where that 4th may be. He's going to lay in wait and have to play this out perfectly. He's going to hear that vehicle that Perfectix is in. And VP can try and bide their time, but Liquid know more of the plan than they have actually let on. Jeemzz, when will you unleash? Clib's in danger. As soon as that push comes in, Jeemzz, you better land these shots. It's all pressure on you. That's great. Needs more, though. Now here comes the turn. Now there's trouble aplenty. Liquid, now, strike from the hillside. Spyro off on that little bit of a deeper angle. Jeemzz! Middle of the open, just gets punished. And they're not over just yet. Spyro gets caught on the reload and VP go down. Liquid keep 3 standing and the res may just be possible. Jeemzz is out in the blue now, though, I think. So this is where it could be problems for him. I don't know if he can crawl on in. SMB might be a little too far away to capitalize on it as well on that darker, deeper side of the hill. So for now, Liquid keep all 4 up. And hey, just jumping over Jeemzz was pretty much the gift of the gods for them. And now a free shot in the back. Alya can't walk away from that one. That was that 2-2 split you were alluding to, Rich, and it's not gone well for them, but here comes ENCE, sweeping on up, and that should be a freebie on DA as well.
Very well played from Jeemzz. They committed to the cause, and that's what needed to happen. They had to remove VP from player and keep the entirety of the circle for themselves. They've done that while the circle has moved away from the compound has been pushed out. It got the job done. Decent nade from Lyron. Takes down Fate. Response here from Dante. He hits the window. That's going to be 2 players inside there going bye-bye. It doesn't. Bounces off the boards, but Qwizzy has already been spotted by Faultlessly just outside of the smoke with Fenderlost in the back also. Committing one. That pin should be pulled and the nade should be delayed. Damage. A little bit too far, but the low ball. I think that's a flashbang to follow. Yep. Has to be careful, though. You can see he has in hand the AUG, which also would suggest the level 3 chest and helmet. Gives him a level of survivability. Takes note, I like that, of FaZe lurking in the distance. Oh. There's so much down here. It's so confusing to realize and know where these players are. At the moment, it's just a smash and grab and kind of take whatever you can. And somehow, some way, Lauren, they've managed to make it work.
Yeah, a doozy finding the player who was tucked in that corner was actually huge. I'm pretty sure Dante was walking in and he hadn't checked that deeper right side. He was about to be absolutely screwed over by, I think it was Lyron. So a doozy lifesaver for at least Dante and maybe for the rest of question mark. However, we look further afield. This is in the south. Heroic now under... What? That mad pull up on the bike, just absolutely destroying Beamy. And now T-Bone all alone. Yeah, it's a nade, but he still has to hit that reload, still under pressure, still having problems of his own, because look at Gear Up, they've got the surround on this, and SMB starting to get interested too. Things aren't going so well, even with T-Bone finding one. The rest of his side look like they are pretty much the walking wounded, and Gear Up goes down, and maybe Heroic survive with maybe just T-Bone.
Looking to do whatever he can against Liquid with a 4-man stack. It should be GG. Gadrilla's in the distance also, committed to the cause. mxey another one on the board, but Ibi gets caught at distance, at range. Navi finds ENCE coming around the corner. They've had this for a while. Underneath, takes his shins off and goes for the head. Tiikzu just decapitates Navi. And all 3 of them fall simultaneously. That's a big old hole coming out of ENCE. Fenderlost has to be up to the challenge now as he has 4 players just battering down his door. Brute force and ignorance so far from question mark is the name of the game, and it somehow worked out. But we said earlier, it looked like QM had taken stock that FaZe were looking into this. And if they hadn't before, those couple of shots from the distance most certainly will. Circle updates. Liquid stay safe. SMB. FaZe all in with it. Vanir is going to have to hold this compound because there's going to be so many players wandering their way. One of them will fall. Galacticos goes down. But at least a good final stand. QM live to fight another day. TM, or at least the last of TM, the mollies. ENCE is... It's going to be a hard-fought one for ENCE to be able to work the way up the side of this because Vanir's pushing down on them. This is a really good read from Vanir to get involved in this at this time.
I love Squeaky's hat. That's all I'm seeing right now is Squeaky's hat. That's very powerful. Very powerful hat work.
Intensifies.
Truly. At this point, though, they still need to keep themselves moving. It's going to be Vanir who's on the other side, who made a bit of a, I guess, heroic run themselves. That south to north play to get, it's not a great position to be in. Keep in mind, it looks like a compound on the map, but you can see what it actually is. A couple of bricks piled up and not much else. It's not the best cover to work from. Someone like Clib, if he's aware of it, does get pretty much, not necessarily free reign, but some really clean shots. Yellow's in a deeper angle. That voice could be booming throughout this lobby if Clib's not careful. He's going to be really caught in a bad position. We do see a couple of the players now getting the vehicles ready and having to send on forward. ENCE will be waiting on the other side, though. This pulls their attention away from Vanir and now right towards who's pulling up towards them. Diggory, great shot, but there's a trade from Vanir. Kino's there, but there comes the third layer to this. Liquid can see Vanir, but they do flush Diggory while all that was going on.
Tried to get a little bit of a deeper angle, but unfortunately he's punished for it. Jeemzz strikes, and that's because of the height advantage that he has. He's down for now. The revive will come through, but for Liquid, it's picky battles, but also try and get involved with as many as possible too. If they can do damage to Vanir, take away, you know, utility, take away gear, weaken them for their next assault, they'll be coming up. Wind of this supermassive blaze, finally. Finding FaZe, and all of FaZe are committed to the cause. FaZe is turning up with a shotgun. We've seen this a fair amount of times now. He absolutely loves that weapon. Up close and personal, it's going to shred But they need to make the advancement first. With the smokes going down, it's a possibility. Rustanmar on the back of the meds. They will run parallel to QM. I think this is over and done with for ENCE. It's been a very valiant attempt, but ultimately the punishing corner that they're stuck within will be their grave. Easy edge of the smoke, not a problem, as one last stand comes out from SKUIJKE. They'll avoid this fight, but ultimately run into the next.
Yeah. Now, this is the one that's going to be hard to clear. Very unfavorable angles to run past, or you can hear the shots being belted off in the distance. SKUIJKE trying to clear through as he goes. FaZe do get now a lot of access to the southern side, and I'm seeing Liquid leaning that way. Now, with them clearing out SMB, the south was theirs, but mxey moved up, which is quite interesting. Now, this north side is no longer in. A doozy, that spray was just ridiculous, and Fate is at the doorstep. He could maybe wait for them to push out. He could try and be involved in it. We have to see how they play this. Liquid also have choices. Do we stick for this northern fight? Do we stay quiet to the east? Do we focus towards the south? They have options in this. So, curious to see what they go for, as Vanir's options are rough. If they go for that eastern lean, they get kind of forced in towards Jeemzz. But question mark, eyeing up FaZe instead, looking to see if they can maybe keep them away from picking up a prime, more centered up position, and actually QM leaving Vanir to their own devices.
FaZe slowly but surely works their way off on this, and the reason they've been slow is because of the terrain. There's no hard cover for them to utilize, so they have to run their outskirts and do whatever they can. They're relying on some of their teammates to maybe give suppressive fire, but there's so little angles to be able to take. Liquid's holding one side, QM are holding the other. Ultimately, I think FaZe is just squished into a corner. But all of a sudden, Liquid have to turn and fight this. Vanir have come out from the wilderness. They have put players on this hillside to keep track of this, so the information's been there. But Hjort will come in first. Good nade onto the back of Ibi. All of a sudden, Liquid loses 50% of its players, its manpower. Individually, they're all falling. Clib cannot go for any reses whatsoever. He has to go hard on this. He's opted to go for the utility, and it's been punishing. Vanir just push as a full four-man stack, and Liquid pay the ultimate price.
That was huge from Vanir. These guys are actually playing against so many of the odds. They did not have the best start. They were in a really bad position. They moved to center, yes, but it's not an easy compound to sit towards. It's barely any cover. And question mark, I felt like they left them saying, well, they're not going to leave that compound. They're going to get screwed on the way out. We don't have to worry about it. We can look towards FaZe. Now they have to pay attention, as does FaZe. Oh yeah, okay, Fuzzface just spotted one, but a doozy's getting involved. So now Fuzzface goes, well, maybe I can eye up question mark instead. Where are they on this? Because the doozy is right nearby. Hjort's got his back to the blue now pretty soon. Fate's going to try and end it, but oversteps Kino. Big punish, finding Fate there. And now problems are plenty. No one's fighting FaZe, and it's all eyes across the board elsewhere. Hjort doing what he can with 9 HP and a bit of a dream. He wants to take a second to heal, but where's safe? Is there any cover that hasn't been absolutely destroyed? Smokes go out. You can see FaZe littering that hillside. Question mark a little further towards the north. With Fate being knocked, Dante is the most northern point for them. A doozy and Faultless way closer to the center. And actually, FaZe have leapfrogged here. They've got themselves in a way better position just because question mark had to readdress that Vanir point. Gustav does find Hjort, and things are looking real rough for Vanir now.
FaZe can control this. They just have to be careful. It's Vex's job to keep QM contained where possible.
Was that a nade or is it?
Oh, when they, it's another.
What was that?
Molly. To try and get the molly.
Oh, they've mollied the smoke. That's
I know exactly
so nice.
where they are, but I kind of like the deeper smokes coming out from Flamer here, so they can get
That's
up against
a
the
nade.
hill. That's a big nade, though. That's going to bounce right behind and take the first. The second will come through. Fuzzface spots it. There's a one-man chance. But this still comes down to Vex holding. In order for this to work and for them to win this, they cannot let QM get close to them. You still have this problem lingering in the distance, but I like how they're actually spreading their resources to keep it contained, Lauren. The information will be with them should they come inside of it.
He can't check on Faultlessly, and he can't check on a doozy at the same time, basically. This is all audio kind of like prompts to him right now. He needs to hear the footsteps. He needs to hear everything around him. He's in such a dangerous position. He can get pinched, and as you said, if he goes down, everything's then open. Fuzzface is either close range or distance. He doesn't have that like middle ground. He's not got an AR. He's got the shotgun and a mini. Yes, the mini can be used in multitudes of ways. This position isn't currently in. He's going to have to shuffle forward, which means he will be forced to potentially fight. Does he go towards FaZe? Does he try and swing towards the more northern side of a doozy? It looks like he's going towards FaZe. Utility invested. Plenty of mollies, smokes, a couple of flashes. Fuzzface Might be blinded soon, and FaZe now going to be called to attention. They're going to hear that utility go. This could be a moment. I think FaZe just heard the footsteps. He did. Dante goes down. Huge pick up there, but he can't overdo it, and a bit of a fumble from FuzzFace, but it's Gustav with a great trade. Now, 2v2 with one knock on either side for FaZe and QM. Rez coming out. They're putting so much faith in FaZe, and this man is a monster, but still the doozy on the other side. Tears him limb from limb. Where is FaZe in this? He's had to keep his head down. It's just FaZe in a 1v2. He knows where a doozy is, but does he know where Faultlessly is? He's got a good idea. One smoke. Gear's not bad either. And the utility starts to pour in. FaZe knows the danger is around the corner. Can he? Ooh, he's got the confirmation now. He knows where that first player is. But a doozy's going to be closing in. He's going to be playing this like an animal. And yet he's actually rejoined his buddy here. First, great shot from FaZe. Banging headshot. Oh, and a catch on a doozy. How has Faultlessly done that? What a great attempt. A valiant attempt. But